What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to the Den. Thank you for letting me be your host, Ed Honcho. Make sure you're following the Den on all the proper social medias, and make sure you tune in every night live at 10 p.m. Central Time, where we have live discussions about whatever we spoke on that day or whatever's going on in the world. But a lot of people have been asking me my thoughts about the college admission scandal and, you know, how I feel about that and what I think is going to happen. I'm going to be honest, I've been kind of paying attention. I haven't been really following all the details. I'm not familiar with everybody who's been indicted. I know Aunt Becky, and I know there's another celebrity chick who I'm really not familiar with, but those are two of the names that people specifically asked about. So we're going to kind of catch the update on what's going on with that, and then I'll kind of give you my opinion on the whole shebang, if you will. So it says Lori Laughlin and 15 others face new charges in college admission scandals. This is from the New York Times earlier today. I'm not going to read it word for word. We're just going to kind of, skip over it now, kind of, share my thoughts on it. It says, federal prosecutors brought new money laundering charges against Hollywood actress Lori Laughlin and 15 other parents in the college admissions case on Tuesday, raising the legal stakes for parents who have not said that they would plead guilty in the case. And I believe the other chick pled guilty. We'll look at another article in just a second, and so we'll see what happened with that. Yeah. Prosecutors said on Monday that 13 of 33 parents charged in the case, including, I'm going to learn how to speak today. I'm trying to read it too fast just to kind of run through it. Including the actress Felicity Huffman, would plead guilty. In all but one case, those parents would plead guilty to a single count of conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest service mail fraud. On Tuesday, the prosecutors indicted most of the other parents on the fraud charge, but also on an added charge of money laundering conspiracy. Interesting. Ms. Laughlin and her husband, the designer Massimo, is it Massimo? Like Massimo, that shit? I don't know, that used to be cool, like, I think when I was in high school, motherfuckers used to fuck that. I don't know. I wonder if that's the same. I'm assuming. How many Massimos are there? Could be some more. Let me get back on track. Gianelli, I hope I said that right, are accused of conspiring with a college consultant, William Singer, to pay $500,000 in bribes to get their daughters admitted to the University of Southern California as recruits to the women's crew team, even though neither of the girls actually participated in the sport. Miss Laughlin, best known for her role as Aunt Becky on the television show Full House, has already suffered some professional consequences of the charges. The Hallmark Channel said it would stop development of shows that feature her. Her daughters, both current students at USC, have also faced repercussions, as USC has placed an academic hold on students tied to the scandal, preventing them from registering for classes. Oh, boo-hoo. Most of the parents in the case, including Miss Laughlin and Mr. Gianelli, were originally charged in a criminal complaint with conspiracy to commit mail fraud and honest services mail fraud. Prosecutors had a limited period of time in which to formally indict them, or the complaint would be dismissed. And before we kind of jump across and kind of see what else is going on there, I feel like, they threw these added charges on there to apply pressure. Let's be honest, prosecutors, everybody, period, they want to make their job as easy as possible. So if we can go ahead and get you to admit and plead guilty, then we don't have to go through trial. I don't have to go through all this evidence and put together a case against you. It's much simpler if both parties don't have to go through the proceedings. So Felicity Huffman, I'm sure that's why she's going to get a lighter role, or a lighter sentence. I'm sorry, role, like I'm talking about some actors. She's probably going to get a lighter sentence simply because, that's what happens in a lot of these cases. If you make it easier on the prosecution, if you make it easier on whoever's trying to prove the case against you, and you don't offer any fuss or any feedback, or you show remorse or things of this nature, generally the situation works a little bit better in your favor, depending on what the crime is, depending on your criminal history, depending on, multiple factors. But I think this is going to be interesting to see what happens with Aunt Becky. I saw the other day, she was out there waving to fans and signing autographs and shit outside the courthouse. I don't know how that's going to be looked upon. I don't think they're going to probably pay too much attention to it, but it'd be very interesting to see. You're just there to handle business, not to embrace your celebrity. But people don't give a fuck. They're gonna people don't give a shit. Any chance they get to see a celebrity, they're gonna try to get some fucking autographs and whatever else it may be. But let's look at this other article about Felicity Huffman, and then I'll kind of get more into the entire scandal and how I feel from what I've kind of read about it and what I understand. And again, hey, if you agree, you disagree, hit that comment section below, man. I want to know how y'all feel, because the Den is about conversation. Whether you agree with what I'm talking about, you disagree, we're all friends in the Den, and your opinions are welcome. And again, live every night at 10 p.m. We have the call-in line. You can call in and share your thoughts live on the stream with everybody else in the chat. Check it out. Felicity Huffman likely to face some prison time in college admissions scandal. All right, let's see what's happening, what they're talking about. Said in announcing that she would plead guilty in the college admissions scandal, Felicity Huffman said that she would accept the consequences that stem from these actions. But what would those consequences be? Let's kind of break it down. Let's just skip a little to says Huffman paid $15,000 for a graduate student to correct her daughter's answer on the SAT. Got a 400-point boost over her previous score. Let's see. Huffman later discussed pursuing a similar scheme for her daughter, according to records. She's among dozens of parents facing charges in the ongoing investigation of shady practices that wealthy families and prestigious schools across the U.S. She was charged with fraud and conspiracy to commit mail fraud. Possible sentence. They said they're probably going to ask for punishment at the low end of the sentencing scale, probably less than a year, which is expected. Manny Medrano, defense attorney, former federal prosecutor, said that based on 2019 federal sentencing guidelines, she'd probably get from 4 to 10 months in prison as part of her plea. Again, making it easier on her, they're going to make it easier on them. Her sentencing recommendation is low because she has no criminal history and because the amount of money involved is relatively small. No, look, they throw me $15K, you know, since that ain't no change. But the statement Monday, Huffman expressed remorse, said, "I'm in deep acceptance of my guilt and with deep regret and shame over what I've done. I accept full responsibility for my actions and will accept the consequences that stem from those actions. I'm ashamed of the pain that I've caused my daughter, my family, my friends, and my colleagues, and the educational community. I want to apologize to them especially, and I want to apologize to the students who work hard every day to get into college and to their parents who make tremendous sacrifices to support their children and do so honestly. My daughter knew absolutely nothing about my actions, and in my misguided and profoundly wrong way, I have betrayed her." Now, look, she knew she didn't do that damn good on the SAT. She knew that shit. Look, y'all can buy that bullshit if you want to. Her daughter knew she did not do that damn good on that SAT. Amongst the other things, she knew that. So basically saying Huffman, 12 of the parents, including Los Angeles marketing guru Jane Buckingham, Bay Area real estate developer Bruce Isaacson, and his wife, agreed to plead guilty to charges of fraud and conspiracy in the investigation. Said Michael Center, former men's tennis coach at UT, University of Texas at Austin, is accused of taking $60,000 in cash and $40,000 donation to his tennis program to ensure a student was admitted as a recruited athlete. Motherfuckers are buying scholarships these days, and that's craziness, huh? I mean, essentially, you're buying a scholarship to pay to go to school, or that, I mean, it's wild to me. I guess that's how it works, right? But again, it talks about Rick Singer and, you know, kind of his whole situation, and that goes further into the details. You know, they're accused of paying him to help the children cheat, getting the UCLA, USC, Stanford, Yale, Georgetown. 33 parents have been charged in the case. Several defense attorneys and legal experts said that many of the parents and coaches caught in recorded phone calls and emails discussing payments and the cheating they bought, there appear to be few options to mount a strong defense. Cutting a deal is the best option. The cases aren't about a defense, they're about mitigation, said Niana Rahmani, a former assistant U.S. attorney in Los Angeles. If a defendant stays in, they're getting bad advice from their lawyers. These are bulletproof cases. As an attorney, it's about finding the best way to reach a plea with the government with a reduced sentence. And so that's basically what I'm saying. A lot of these people have been caught up, and it's funny because they caught this guy. I want to say it started off on tax evasion, and then he, you know, didn't want to go all the way down, so he started kind of telling about how he put his kid in one of these situations and how many other people were tied into it. And so that's kind of where the case started to open up. But my personal opinion is this, and I'm gonna be frank and I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not mad at these people for what they did. I know a lot of people are trying to bring them down and undermine them. Look, I'm all about utilizing whatever unfair advantages you have in life. If a motherfucker's 7 feet tall and he's not trying to go play to get into the NBA and using his height as his advantage, then he's stupid. If you got money, if you have the finances, and look, hey, you got to cheat to it. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, is what they say, right? If you're not trying to do your best to establish a future for your kids, it's a thing. Now, my problem with this is, though, when you come in and you are basically doing it, like, I would understand if they had the grades, if they just didn't get in and they just kind of squeezed a spot in for. But a lot of these motherfuckers had to go cheat for them, and that's where I started losing faith. When you have to go cheat on the test, or like, if it's just money, and here I'm gonna grease the wheels a little bit. I don't see that as too much difference. A lot of these other people who donate to these colleges. I know Dr. Dre's kid just got into one of them, and they were like, oh, you know, no cheating or whatever. But he donated a lot of money to the school, so I'm sure that played in as a factor somewhere, even though it's not the illegal way. So I'm not tripping. Again, it's because these individuals got the money, not the schools. That's why it's illegal. Again, so am I just livid with these people? No. Is it fucked up for the people who work hard and who got the grades? Yeah, probably. But the overwhelming majority of people who are mad and upset about this, one, are people who probably don't even go to college, never went to college. Two, weren't going to get in any of these schools in the first place. Three, they just like to talk about wealthy people who use their advantage. Well, what's good if you don't use the fucking money? If you're rich and you're not using the fucking money, then what good is it, right? I'm talking about, hey, I know it sounds fucked up. I know y'all like, it's Honcho, he's a fucking asshole. But I mean, shit, that's what people do all day, every day. I mean, things happen because people use their leverage. They use what they have to their advantage. Same way women who may use, if they are attractive, they use that to get an advantage. Hey, if you got a little money in your pocket, use that to your advantage. Use strength to your, whatever it is that you have to your advantage in life. I'm all about using it. You got one life to live. You better make the best of it. If you're making excuses and trying to justify, all this other stuff, well, I'm going to be honorable and I'm going to pay, man, fuck that. Somebody worked hard for you to get to that spot. Take advantage of that shit. But again, the negative that I look at it is the impact that it is going to have on the kids because they didn't really earn it. They're already pampered and spoiled, so it's not like this one incident is going to change anything. They probably just going to throw a little hissy fit. They've probably been giving these kids everything they wanted since day one. And it is what it is, man. Like I say, that's not going to change. Whether they had gotten into school or not, it wasn't going to change anything. They were still going to be spoiled, or they're still going to be whatever it is. The one kid, one of Becky's kids, Aunt Becky's kids, she does like a YouTube star, and she don't even give a fuck about the shit anyway. She said, I want to go just to have the experience. Well, shit, you could do that anywhere, but you just want to say you went to USC. Unfortunately, though, like I say, she's been exposed, and with all that fame and everything else, I know she lost some sponsorships and everything. And it's not all about the money. I know y'all thinking, well, Hunter, you just caring about the money. It's not that. Again, yeah, integrity is a thing, but a lot of the same people too on the same hand are talking about, look at these parents and they're getting their kids in these colleges. You the same motherfuckers who are talking about, well, college is a scam anyway, and so it's like you can't fight both sides of the battle, right? You gotta pick a war, you gotta pick a battle and stick with it. Because I've heard a lot of these people double talking to shit, and it kind of is what it is. Me personally, do I think it's fucked up? Yeah, for the very few, maybe couple of hundred people across the nation who might have got fucked out of that available spot. That last spot to get in that was given to somebody who might not have deserved it. So a couple of hundred people across, and maybe a couple of thousand, depending on how deep this thing really runs, got fucked over. But millions and millions of people are talking about it, and the only reason millions of people are really talking about it is because celebrities are tied into it. That's the only reason I'm fucking talking about it. But let's be honest, man, it's sketchy. It's been going on for a long time. We talk about this, but we're not as mad at some of these schools. They're talking about Nikes and other things who are paying these kids to go to these certain schools so they have an advantage. College is a scam, but not in the sense of what a lot of people like to say as far as higher education. The extracurricular things that these colleges do, that these programs do, it's fucked up. My biggest deal with college is pay the athletes, because that's the only reason anybody gives a fuck. Pay the premier athletes. You got a star basketball program, you've got a star football program. Pay the fucking athletes. Like, I mean, and it needs to be based on, if you're bringing in the money, then you need to fucking get paid. Let's just be realistic. Some of these other programs, your fucking flag frisbee team or whatever, they're not making no fucking money. I don't care if they're on scholarship or whatever else. Hey, enjoy your scholarship, because there's no going pro for this. But when you got these athletes making millions and millions of dollars for these programs, that's who needs to get paid. That's where I find the scam being, because that's where these schools make the big dollars off of. Everybody in the world, ESPNs and every pundit and everybody's allowed to talk about these kids, but they can't even sign an autograph to make money off their own name. But that's a completely different story. It's a completely different thing. Again, I thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you like what we're talking about. We go live every night at 10 p.m. Central. You can call in, share your thoughts live from 10 p.m. to midnight Central Time. You can call in, share your thoughts live with the rest of the denizens, the den-generates, the friends in the den, and most of all, the den folk. Hey, man, I'm at Honcho. I thank you for taking the time. Make sure you're following on all the proper social medias. And with that being said, hey, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Catch y'all next time. I'm out.